Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now we are continuing the environmental health and explanation what does it mean in environmental health and what are the indicators and how what type of effect of indicators of air pollution. Now we are coming to a prevention and control of air pollution, how we can prevent and control all types of air pollutant and all types of environments, whether physical, chemical, biological, and other. So prevention and control of air pollution come under dilution. Dilution means ventilation. We have to arrange for continuous ventilation in order to dilute those toxic agents present in air. Or vegetation, green belt around. We should build a green belt around the industrial zones, which can reduce the air pollution. Second, contamination. Contamination, it means the prevention of escape of toxic substances. To prevent the contamination of such hazardous agent of the air. Number 3, substitution. Substitution means converting coal-based industrial to electricity-based and leaded petrol. This means we can convert some environmental pollutant. We can convert it to electricity from coal-based to the electricity and electrical basis in order to reduce the effect of coal materials. For legislation consider a Smoke Nuisance Act to improve quality of air and to prevent and control air pollution. We have to arrange for rules and legislation in order to reduce the active quality of air and to prevent and control air pollution through the legislation and others. International action. There is also an international action from WHO, which has established international network of many centers and laboratories in various parts of the world for the monitoring and studying of air pollution. As regards the radiation as one of the important air pollutants, radiation is a part of man's environment, we consider it. This may be divided into two main groups, either electromagnetic radiation as X-ray and gamma rays. Those can penetrate the skin and muscle and reach up to the inside organs. We call it electromagnetic, and they are very harmful. Second, corpuscular radiation as alpha particles, and these alpha particles have little penetrating force, cannot penetrate even a piece of paper, so cannot penetrate the thickness of the skin. And then beta particles and protons, all those are not considered as the important important factors of radiation in the air pollution to affect the health, the human health. Now, what are the sources of radiation? The sources of radiation either come from the nature, we call it natural or cosmic rays, الأشعة الكونية, from the outer space. Those either terrestrial radiation such as thorium, uranium, radium, and isotope of the potassium, those are present in man's environment, inside the man environment, for example, also present in the soil and rocks. Those considered as terrestrial radiation, as we have said, as thorium and uranium, and also it can present inside the the body of the man. Or atmospheric radiation from the atmosphere. C, internal radiation, radioactive materials stored in the body tissue. As we have said that there are some radioactive materials inside the body tissue, include potassium and strontium and carbon. Those considered as a natural or sources of radiation. Now, after natural, we are coming to man-made as a natural source of radiation, as we have said. Here, there are other types as man-made, as medical and dental x-rays. We use, as you know, the medical and x-rays, radioisotopes, B, or nuclear explosions, or miscellaneous. Miscellaneous considered the others as television, computer, watch, dial watch, isotopes, and the others. Those are man-made. Well, what are the effects of radiation? After we have seen the natural radiation and man-made radiation, we have to know what type of effects of radiation and how affect the human beings. The effects of radiation, number one, either somatic effects. Somatic effects, I mean the effect on the cells, and this come as immediate, as acute radiation syndrome, when a person or individual exposed to high dose of radiation, the person develop some very, very serious disease, as we call it, acute radiation syndrome, and to the death. And central nervous system syndrome, etc., those exposure to heavy amount, to large amount of radioactive materials, affect the cells of the body and develop as somatic effects, whether acute radiation syndrome or central nervous system syndrome, etc. Or delayed action. Delayed action include leukemia, carcinogenesis, and abnormalities of fetal development. I mean, delayed action either develop some sorts of leukemia or carcinogenesis, I mean the tissues of the body develop different type of cancer, and abnormalities of fetal development, or if the woman pregnant, can affect doing different type of abnormality of fetal development. The second type of effect is genetic effect, and this is also an important or significant one. Affect either the chromosome and causing a mutation, which is affect the sterility, and or point mutation affect the genes itself. Number one, affect the chromosome and make a chromosome mutation, which can affect the sterility. And the second is point mutation affect the gene itself. Now, how to protect? The protection from radiation, we can run the following program or the following important notes as regard the protection here. Number one, there is unnecessary X-ray exposure should be avoided. We have to avoid unnecessary exposure to radiation, especially in children and pregnant women. Number two, lead aprons and thyroid collars will reduce the intensity of scattered X-ray over 90%. We have to supply by the people by an lead aprons and thyroid collars, where can reduce the effect of radioactive up to 90%. Number three, film badge should be used by all the workers in order to measure the exposure of the people to X-ray in order to prevent them to continue after reaching the up part. Number four, safe distance from X-ray machine and using lead length collimator. Safe distance, we have to stand in a safe distance from X-ray machine and using those what we call lead lined collimator.